Welcome to Vegas Circle Podcast with your hosts, Paki and Chris. We are people who are passionate about business, success, and culture. And this is our platform to showcase the people in our city who make it happen. On today's podcast, we're going to be discussing the process of constructing top-tier housing for $50,000 with the CEO and majority shareholder of Boxabl. We're welcoming back to the podcast. We got Mr. Paolo Tiramani. So great to see you again, man.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, Chris and Paki, great to be back.
We were just saying offline, it's been a little over 2 years since we had you on before, so I know we got a lot to catch up on, but absolute pleasure to have you back on the podcast. But just to kind of jump right in, man. So you guys, you've had 2 factories since the last time we've got a chance to sit down. Now you're on your 3rd factory, from my understanding. Can you kind of share what you guys have been just kind of short from, moving from, factory 1, factory 2, and then what we could expect for factory 3?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's cost 2.5 years.
It's
unreal.
unreal.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I think the last time we spoke, I don't think we'd made anything. I think we were just starting. Okay. And I don't know if we were in factory 1. Before that, we were in the R&D lab, which was 10,000 square feet. And then factory 1, I think we're just moving in, just football stadium size, and seemed huge at the time. Yeah. And that was 170,000 square feet. So then we picked up factory 2, which was another warehouse building that became vacant for us. And we took that was 130,000 square feet.
Wow.
And then the building in between, some folks had some issues, so we put our hand up and said, can we have it?
Awesome.
And so we're at 400,000 square feet between 3 factories. Factory may be a bit of a misnomer, in terms of, one might be mostly storage, but there is manufacturing in each. And we're just getting up to speed now in that interim period since we last saw each other, getting that production line up and running. So 400,000 square feet, a couple of hundred people, and it just feels like the beginning, even though it's sort of scarily large.
Yeah, that's extremely scary.
It's scarily
unreal.
large.
Yeah,
it's really kind of like growing into that space. Going from the factory 1 to 2 to 3. And do you feel like as you're navigating and getting more space, does it create more challenges, or has it allowed you to be able to take a little bit of breathing room, and that way you can kind of space things out a little bit more?
Yeah, I wouldn't say breathing room. I think one of the challenges is that we have to be forward-looking in terms of volume. So as entrepreneurs, there's a risk level that if we don't do something versus if we do something. So if we stayed in the 170, I think as we wind up production, we would have tapped out the volume pretty quickly, and that wouldn't have been good. If we're continuing just on the topic of building sizes, so we're planning what we call Boxzilla.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Boxzilla. Okay. So we're looking some of the local landholders to put up really a village. It'd be several million square feet. It'll have an R&D village and things of that nature.
In Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It requires master planning. So that's going to take possibly 4 years, something like that, to get it done.
Wow.
We have to get to revenue and learn our craft, learn how to make the different sizes between now and then. So the 400,000 square feet, that little old 400,000 square feet, should get us to about 5,000 or 6,000 homes a year, which isn't too bad. And then we would put a zero on that. I believe much more than that actually in Boxzilla. So, so we could stop at the 400,000 square feet, be a nice regional company. The investors be very happy, get it into the black, sort of print money sort of thing. Yeah. But I would consider that a failure at this point. It would be doing a disservice to the goal, the concept of doing something on a very large scale, having engineered something that can scale very large. And by scaling large, the 3 things it has to do is it has to make homes as quickly as possible at the highest quality and the lowest cost. Those are the three legs of our bar stool if we're drinking.
Yeah. We're drinking vodka right now.
Yeah, this is great. You disguised this so well.
Yeah. But step back just a little bit, just for our listeners, just kind of remind them of what Boxabl is, right? So when you guys first started off, the casita that you guys had, which you guys are still building, right?
Yep.
That one was 361 square foot, right? still price point still the same, just under $50,000 for you to be able to purchase that home?
Yeah, so 2.5 years later, post-pandemic, where it's I think 60,000, so not bad. Everything in the world's gone up. Our costs continue to glide down, and that spread allows us to reach profitability. And the best way for your listeners and viewers to think about Boxabl is they're basically building shells or building boxes in three sizes. So easiest way to think of them is just like the Legos, right? The square one and the rectangular one, and you can stack and connect and cantilever those, and that's Boxabl. That's the main principle of Boxabl. So we make rooms rather than homes, and then those rooms can be configured into any architectural layout and any architectural style. It's a big, big country, big planet. And then the other key factor is that factory-built homes today can't ship because they make them. You can go down the road 8 foot wide, and trailer homes, modular homes, they go down the road 14 foot wide. So they make something that's illegal to ship, and then they can ship them 100 miles, and then they have to put up another factory. So the magic of Boxabl is they're 8.5 foot wide, and they unpack to 19 foot wide, which means that the empty space is packed up, what we call dollar dense product in terms of materials and people. Labor rather is not packed up, and it's a sort of the magic ticket that we can ship something that is packed to the brim, 8.5 foot wide, legally anywhere around the world, and when it unpacks, it triples in size. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. So when you have those first principles between the Lego brick analogy and the building shells that connect, stack, cantilever, and then compress down to 1/3 of their size, you can see now that's really, really a scalable solution. And with scale comes massive manufacturing efficiency, especially if you're building in an automotive style production line as we are. So that's a sort of a top level view of Boxabl. And we have the modest goal of fixing the global housing crisis. And I'm chuckling, but we mean it. We mean it.
Yeah.
So if we shoot for Alpha Centauri and just land up on Mars, it's still a win. Right?
Yeah, we were amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the one thing that always I see them and I look at I'm following social media and I've seen a lot of the homes. They look fantastic. They're great looking homes. The one curiosity I always have is how do they furnish the homes on the interiors, like the appliance packages or the painting, the decor, like is any of those included, or do you have an opportunity to kind of help navigate some of those challenges, the purchase of those items?
Yeah, so basically there's the inside and the outside. So the inside, first of all, we only make the casita today, which is the studio home, which is 360 square feet, something in that neighborhood. We have like 170,000 pre-orders, which sounds like a lot. Well, it is a lot. It's an insane amount. But I think there's a lot of wish fulfillment. Somebody just says, yeah, I want one.
Of course, yeah.
But then another guy
I'll be honest,
says,
I want one.
Yeah, there you
just,
go.
Yeah.
I wonder where your name is on the list.
Yeah, I'm on the list.
But some people, so some people are unserious. Some people are very serious and maybe they want 10 or 20. So the expression of interest is large enough that we know it's really big, right? So we can just sort of perfect our craft just by making the casita and getting that really, really efficient and learning all the construction mechanisms, everything we need to do. But to answer your question specifically, the interior ship complete with everything except the furniture. By that I mean the kitchen, the bathroom, the appliances, the lights, the ceilings. It's done, and I mean done. When you unbolt it, you plug it in, all the utilities, grey water, regular water, electric, waste, all ports to one corner, and you just plug it in. So folks really with the casita just have to move in, maybe put some blinds on the windows, bring a toothbrush, a bed and a couch, and they're living. And then the exterior, have you guys been up to the factory? Yeah.
I am so disappointed. I have not. I have, and honestly, we've connected off since the podcast. It's horrible. I need to go up there.
Yeah. So come on up. And,
I will.
And your listeners, come on up. Take a tour, and we have outside like a little mini village. We have like a half a dozen, 4 or 5 of these things, and we call them dress ups. And we've dressed up the exteriors to be like we've got an adobe and a contemporary and a log cabin and a couple of others, and we call them dress ups because the product is built to modular code. It's secure against the elements as it unpacks. So then the decorative style is just that. It's not performing any any structural function, which means you can do it, your handyman can do it, your friends can come over and do it, and you can just dress up the outside, any way you want. So that's it. That's the inside and the outside. So
Awesome.
we're really still taking baby steps. We just built 500 homes last week, which sounds like a lot. And in less than 2 years from a standing start, it's an insane amount, especially when you think day one when we moved in, there was, I think, 20 or 30 of us.
Man, and now you're up to well over 100.
Couple of hundred people.
Yeah.
But, we had to become OSHA compliant. We had to figure out how to make these things, how to turn on the equipment. It was absolute pandemonium. So I think the first one took a couple of months, so it took a couple of months. And then today we're making one we're making one every 4 hours. We make a home every 4 hours, which is pretty mind-boggling.
Wow.
And we're slow walking because we're not at profitability yet, and we call that 1.0 version, which is still the original
kind of business
tech.
plan. Okay.
So we've now got a 2.0 from all the things we've learned, all the bugs we've ironed out, and so we should be making that. We should be making that by Q1 of next year, and then the production speed should go down to under an hour. So we're making a home every hour. I think it'll be around 45 minutes, and then Boxilla, we should be making a home every 5 minutes, and the reach goal is to make a home every 60 seconds.
Wait a minute. Did you say every 5 minutes?
A Boxilla, that's the plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be
That
major.
definitely helps solve some of those challenges.
Yeah, and the math is really interesting because right now we have almost a prototype line. By a line, we see the cars going down on an automotive production line.
Yes. Yep.
So think of there's 10 stations. So right now we call it 10 stations. We have 10 stations, and we make one every 4 hours, right? So the new line, the semi-automated line that we're putting in currently to make the 2.0 is 20 stations. So it's only double the number of stations, but it reduces the time by 3/4. So it's an exponential ramp up for the number of stations you have. Wow. And then if we go to that, let's call it an hour for 20 stations. At 80 stations, which is 4 times that much again, we go to 5 minutes. We go to 5 minutes, which is 1/12. So if you do the math, you see that it gets more and more efficient, the number of stations you have. If you have twice the number of stations, you don't make it in half the time. If you have twice the number of stations, you make it in 1/4 of a time. And so that's how we plan to get there. And we're working currently. We're working with Porsche Consulting. We'll work with Sandy Monroe helps Tesla with and Musk with their stuff, and they've been great. And one of the interesting things for us is, we say, well, we have these 3 building shells, these 3 Lego bricks to make everything. And the Lego bricks have probably 95% commonality between the 3 sizes. And some of them will be empty, and some of them will be stairs, and so we're having sort of religious arguments about how many production lines do we need. And I'm saying, we can't just have one production line, it's not going to be efficient. But then the pros say, yes, it should be one big production line, and you just put different configurations down the line. And I'm like, well, that would be fantastic, because now we can focus all of our efforts on one production line, not
versus
6 or 7,
various.
which is, it's all about simplicity and first principles for us. So that's really interesting, and it's going to help our franchising model. Franchise overseas for growth. That's another part of the growth story. We'll see how that plays out. So as a franchising model to scale beyond Boxilla, it means it's just going to be one production line. Doesn't matter what you make, and it doesn't matter how many you make, it's going to be one production line. So that really simplifies, the franchise model down the road.
Man.
It's kind of
It's pretty
fascinating,
crazy.
because you're you don't have a background in factory manufacturing, right? So they're pretty great expert at kind of navigating this. How did you develop your own personal skills and learning how to navigate things? Just trial by error, or do you spend a lot of time researching, or is it really just hiring experts?
Yeah. Yes. Everything is so. I have an industrial design degree, I have a mechanical engineering degree, and I spent my life designing and engineering products to be made in high volume in factories.
Oh, okay, so you do have experience.
Yeah, I do, but I don't, because I visited hundreds and hundreds of factories over my career. I've never run a factory.
Yeah.
Completely different.
That's a slightly different skill set. So, but it's been like that since we all got together a couple of years ago. just my own personal learning and growth experience has not just been a factory either. I'm basically a guy in a box of with a box of crayons in the corner, designing, designing stuff, and so we had to learn, everything from politics, finance, HR. I mean,
all the fun stuff.
Yes and no. I mean, you just do what you have to do. Customer service, and even the social media waters, which are developing for all of us, is something we had to navigate. So I'm sort of personally fast onboarding, lots and lots of new things I have to learn. But I don't have to be a master at any of them. I don't have to be a specialist in any of them. We just have to hire really brilliant people. So the common thread is we need to hire really brilliant people. So if all the skills that I need to have, that's the most important one. I just got to hire brilliant people, and they have to be loyal, committed, hardworking, and brilliant. They have to be loyal. They have to be loyal, and they have to be committed to the cause, and work very hard and not whine if they get a call at 9 o'clock. On a Sunday night. I mean, we're not abusive. It's not like 3 a.m. like Musk or anything. Yeah,
for sure.
So,
You said like Musk. We're going to get into that too. But I did want to ask you too. You guys just brought in. Are you able to talk a little bit about the strategic partnership you guys did with DR Horton? Is that just recently happened, right? Or within the last year or so?
I mean, I can talk about what's public.
Okay.
Because we're always getting ourselves into trouble.
NDAs and stuff.
With the SEC and things like that. Whenever we say things that's not been disclosed in quarterly statements or whatever.
Got it.
And so DR Horton is an investor.
Okay.
They have, I think, agreed to purchase some nominal amount, like 100 homes or something like that. And and they've been absolutely unbelievable. I'll give you a couple of examples. So DR Horton is the number one home builder in America. They just crossed 100,000 homes a year. Jeez. So if Boxabl, a factory, makes 100,000 homes a year, which would be a staggering volume. And think Boxzilla is planning with 2 million square feet.
Or one a minute. One every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's Boxzilla, 2 million square feet, and we plan to make 50,000 homes. Wow. DR Horton makes double that all over the country, putting field factories, and by field I mean out in a field, together to put these homes out, and then they'll disappear to the four winds, and then do it, rinse and repeat, do it somewhere else. So pretty amazing. And guys have been great with guidance, DR, and they've been good with sourcing as well. One of the nice things for us is buying in volume. In sort of my history, that's not what we're doing right now. It's not buying. When you make plastic stuff, previously these are not high volumes, right? Hundreds is not hundreds, thousands is high volume. So we'll get there. But apparently in this industry, it's still high volume. So. So our new board panels are basically steel insulation and concrete hardy board, right? So our grid, those building shells, it's basically laid out on a grid, just like the bumps on Legos.
Okay.
So everything snaps to predetermined dimensions, and hardy board you can get it in 48 inches wide, 4 foot wide, 4 foot by 8 foot, throw it in a pickup truck. It's been done that way forever. And we're like, no, we don't want 48 inches wide. We want 57 inches wide. And basically Hardy and Allura say, fuck off. Who the hell are you? Excuse me. Excuse my language. You can bleep that if you have to. And we're like, oh, all right then. And then, a couple of calls. And then we couldn't get the price we wanted. It was not good. And then a couple of calls from DR. And it's just it makes it happen. 3 bags bull for that. Now they make the panels for us 57 inches wide. So those relationships are great.
That's great to have that partner. 100%.
Yeah. So we have nice plans with them going forward. I mean, I think it's obvious that they've invested in us to help them build communities and build communities in volume, and we have to prove ourselves. And I think we will. And I think it's going to be good. But it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a little while.
It's exciting, man. Just being able to do about 100,000 homes, man.
When you put it in perspective like that, it does really make it seem like a crazy task. You see them popping up everywhere. And you forget because they're they're privately owned, right? It's not like a big corporation, or I mean, not like
they're
a
public.
Oh, they are
Oh,
public.
they are public
Yeah,
now?
I
Okay,
think
okay.
they're public. But
Okay.
it's mind blowing when you think if you take a refrigerator, and in a factory you deliver 100,000 refrigerators to the factory, they're delivering 100,000 refrigerators to 100,000 different locations, rinse and repeat, as I said earlier, for everything in that home.
Yeah, that's
It's
beast
ins-
mode.
it's
Yeah, that's
insane.
definitely beast mode. Yeah.
It's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah, kudos to them.
Yeah.
They're
Good
amazing,
stuff.
amazing company.
I've
That's
heard all
great.
the really
Yeah.
good things about them. I heard the
Yeah.
people over there, like the good corporate culture, and
Yeah.
you can see now even as a partner that they do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about Elon Musk, but we couldn't talk
Mm-hmm.
about it before. So can you kind of share how that process worked with you guys being able to go to SpaceX and kind of getting that publicity of being able to build, this casita out in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's in the Wayback Time Machine now.
Yeah.
And so we were sort of rock and rolling in our R&D lab. We're getting some press.
Yeah.
And my business partner, Gali, is also my son, just came to me and said, I've got this lady from Elon Musk's office keeps calling me. And we had a little chuckle, and that was the end of it. And then, a couple of weeks later, he came back and said, because I think it's really them.
Oh, he thought it was a joke.
Yeah, he thought
Galiano thought it was a joke.
he thought it was
wow.
a joke.
Okay.
He thought it was a joke. So we figured out it was real. And he said to me, yeah, he said they want a bunch. And I said, well, we've got 3. They got 3.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I know. He told them we got 3. And she goes, can I have them? I said, what did you say? He said, I said no.
He told him no?
He told them no.
Oh, wow.
And then she called back. And we're like, all right, you can have 1. So it worked out really well. So it was a very exciting period. I mean, just guys are God, let's face it, for all of us. And yeah, so small crew. And we took one of the prototypes, which was, it was rough as balls, this thing. And he's very nicely not said anything bad about it, I believe, but it was rough.
Yeah.
And so we just put it on a truck and shipped down there. And, we were there to put it up, but we were fans as well.
Of course,
just like all the other fans that go down there. So, yeah, put it up, and I think they moved there, and I think they used it as his guest house and whatnot.
That's
I
awesome.
don't know. And so that's the beginning and the end of it. And then the press blew up, and the press blew up, and we had an NDA, so we couldn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started talking about it a little bit,
Little shots.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we got a call. Just said, excuse me, don't talk about this. And we're like, fine. All right. But the less we talked about it, the crazier it got.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it was the inverse. It was the inverse. And there's still articles that pop up today. And like I said, he's been very generous. He didn't shit talk us for the loosey goosey quality. And it was great. It was great. But
That's good publicity, regardless.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good or bad. It still works.
Yeah, we haven't met him. I'd love to meet, like everybody else on the planet.
Yeah.
So I probably will
must
meet
be.
him at some point. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah. Can we get into a little bit of some of the investment opportunities you guys have kind of put out there, right? So
Yeah.
can you kind of share what those 3 investment opportunities are for the public? Because I know you guys are still raising capital and things.
Yeah, I can't say too much again because
Okay.
just totally get ourselves into trouble.
Sure,
But we've raised about 150 million from about 40,000 investors,
Okay.
retail investors. So they get a little frustrated. I think sometimes they don't understand how difficult, how extraordinarily difficult it is to make production in volume. So making a prototype is pretty straightforward, and you can patch the little bits and pieces. But high volume production in quality at the right cost is extraordinarily difficult.
Probably very expensive too to be able to do.
Yeah, we spent tens and tens of millions of dollars, and some don't understand that as well. But yeah, so that's where we are. I think we're probably the biggest crowdfund in history, maybe short of some crypto token or something like that. 150 million.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. And we have Reg D, Reg A plus. So we'll continue to raise the company. So we have plans for Boxabl. Boxabl is $1 billion factory, and we have plans on how to raise that cash. I think we're most of the way there now, but it's not something I can talk about out loud.
Yeah.
And it's to do something this fast at this scale, you have to do lots and lots of things at once. And you have to expect to be wrong some of the time. So you can do things serially, or you can do things in parallel. It's like electricity. So if you do things serially, you could task number one, nail it, get it right, and go to task number two and keep doing that. But it takes a really long time, and you may miss the opportunity. You may miss the opportunity. You may run out of cash as well. If you do things in parallel, you do tasks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they may interrelate to each other. And you have to guesstimate how they will interrelate with each other, make your best estimate, and then do all the things, at once. So we've chosen the latter path because we feel that there is no choice. If we're going to scale this fast, we have to do that. So we make some mistakes, not too many, but it's been a very interesting a process how to get there. And then in terms of the monies raised, Boxabl will be $1 billion factory. We continue to raise under the auspices of the SEC, which I don't mind at all, because it means that we're doing everything on a solid accounting foundation, and treating everybody right.
That's awesome.
So that's it.
It's
So Boxabl.com. We also have an app which is pretty cool. It's really good. It's on the App Store and the other stores.
I didn't realize you guys had the app. So I gotta check it out.
It's really good. It's a really good one on the App Stores. We did it internally with our software team.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's like the little things.
No, that's
God,
powerful. When you get
cool.
an app, that makes it so much easier. Like the simplicity you're talking about.
And folks can they'll get notifications. We use it sparingly for news.
Sure.
We don't bombard folks, but they can check their investment, how their investment is doing. And we are a public company with no trading platform. So you think of a public company, you think of the Dow or the NASDAQ or something, and you can hop on to Ameritrade or whomever and trade it. So we have to comply with all basic public company accounting rules, Sarbanes-Oxley, everything.
Sure.
For a startup, it's enormously difficult. It's enormously difficult to onboard all those skill sets at the outset. So we've made mistakes. So that's been an interesting challenge.
Continuing to pivot and continue to win, man, which is great.
I think in the end, I think it's going to turn out quite well. But we're definitely in the thick of it. We're definitely in the thick of it right now. So I can't give you specifics on the investing, but
we'll just keep tabs.
Boxabl.com.
Okay.
Boxabl.com.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you guys were just recently in the news, man. Can you share a little bit about, were you guys trying to assist with Maui, from my understanding? And I know people were reaching out. Were you guys successful in that at all? Or?
Well, I mean, it's a process. So we've not been successful. We've made inroads.
Okay.
And so we're looking at it. We're on the West Coast. We've got inventory of a couple of hundred, and we said, okay, we'll divert this inventory directly to you. I'm not going to price gouge, nothing, just let's do it. And so our guys are working with everybody. Our governor, Joe Lombardo's reached out, it's my understanding. He's a great governor, by the way. And at various levels of government. But it's like no good deed goes unpunished, because, one group says, you guys are horrible. You should be giving these away. And we're like, excuse me, lady. And then somebody else says like, wait a second, you can't give these away. I'm an investor. So it's like, you can't. So like, how about we don't gouge. We'll get into you as quickly as we can. We'll divert some inventory. We'll be very reasonable on the price. And so that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do.
Do you have the ability to take them away? Like as you install a casita, can you break it back down and move it somewhere else? Like, is it really easy to deploy and then redeploy somewhere else?
Yeah, 100%. And that goes for the whole system. So it's the ultimate. So sustainability is pretty big government buzzword, today. Sustainability really is just a function of cost and Folks don't really realize that. This probably sounds really horrifically unpopular, right?
Yeah.
But cost is really a factor of energy used. So at Boxabl, we try and be very efficient about energy, and we get into ever and ever smaller minutia. We keep taking the task and cutting it in half, and you keep cutting things in half forever, right? So we're right down to like how far a human being walks from here to there to pick something up and move it over. I mean, this is how we really crush the cost. So we're mostly concerned in that narrow factor with cost. Why? Because we have a customer and we want to give it to them for the absolute lowest cost we can for very, very high volume, and we're very sincere about that. What it happens to do as a sort of a byproduct is it makes it massively sustainable, because we're using less energy, because waste is wasteful, it's inefficient, so we have a lot less waste. We regrind and repurpose and things like that. We're very careful about the energy we consume. We're actually sort of leading the charge on appliance energy to lower the energy used by appliances.
Especially in Vegas.
Yeah. Why? Are we trying to save the earth? No. We're trying to give lower energy bills for our customers as a byproduct. Folks who want to save the earth are happy with us. They're sort of different. And then to your point, sort of super circuitous route to answer your question.
Hey, we'll take the long road.
The ultimate in sustainability is a house that has no projected end of life. So homes should last hundreds of years. We're engineering our homes. We have a forever mentality about the homes. Like I said, there's steel, concrete, insulation. It's basically a brick, what house. I mean, these things are really incredibly solid. So we don't have an end of life situation, but you could have sort of an end of purpose situation where you look at that lot and you say, I need to take down that single family and put multifamilies. So normally that house would just get leveled. Not with Boxabl. Why would you take something that has value and not just fold it up and repurpose it into something else? So that's the ultimate in sustainability, is that the attitude is that it never dies. It just gets repurposed, unless it ultimately fails.
That's what I was going to ask you about the lifespan, but you answered it for me. So that's a hell of a...
that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Like I said, you don't want it no more. You can just resell it and relocate it versus having it. You can keep your land and just move the Boxabl somewhere else.
100%. And in terms of secondary markets, it might be our secondary market, it might be Amazon, it might be eBay. But that's going to spring up as we mature. 20, 30, 40-foot boxes. They all have... a bin number, Boxabl identification number, like automotive VIN number. So somebody can look back and see when it was made, what its original purpose was, and things like that. So
that's fascinating.
Yeah, and the other nice part about it is it fits the way we live. Not everywhere in a built-up city you're going to have an apartment and that's it. You're going to go in and live in it. But if you have a lot and you put a home down, you can't afford a home with as many bedrooms as you want, so you get smaller bedrooms, and the kid comes along, or you need a patio, and you can add an additional box. And it even changes the way, so in sort of the arc of life, a growing family theoretically can even go and find a Boxabl home and say, oh, this is cute, but we're having a kid in 3 months, let's add a bedroom. You can do that. And then and then so I mean by the arc of life, I mean the human life. On the other end of it, you could have empty nesters that kids come home, they fight, you don't like your tax bill because you're taxed on the number of bedrooms, whatever nonsense the government's doing, and you could pack up a Boxabl, pocket a few $1,000s, get rid of a bedroom, lower your tax bill. So it changes the way you think of building construction, because it's truly repurposable in lots and lots and lots of different ways. But we're nowhere there yet. This thing is all sketched out. And we have to just make it all real. And the business has to mature over decades.
I might have asked you this before, Paolo, and I can't remember, like from the vision of putting Boxabl together, how long did it take, like to at least get, you know what I mean? Like you come up with this vision, you and Galiano, I'm assuming you guys were talking and wherever you guys were at, right? And you're saying, oh, we'll come up with this idea. From that vision to literally moving and you're in it, right?
Yeah.
How long did that take?
So it depends when you look at it. I would say, 20 years ago, I put up a spec Spec means for resale, spec mansion. When I say mansion, it's in Greenwich, Connecticut, and it was, I think, 11,500 square foot mansion.
Oh, wow.
And that, I made it modular because I didn't know anything about building construction. I knew that I'd get my lunch eaten with change orders and people looking at the rookie and saying, you know, well, we can take him. So I went modular because it was a fixed cost. I remember back in the day, it was like $660,000 for the whole thing. It's a lifetime ago, right? And that mansion, we sold that for $5.25 million, but this is probably 20 years ago. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, in Greenwich, Connecticut. It's a big number.
Connecticut, yeah, it's very high end. Yeah,
Yeah.
New England
And
area. Yeah.
that had 9-foot ceilings, and the rooms were 14 foot wide on the inside. 9-foot ceilings and 14 foot wide.
It's a big space, man.
Yeah, but Boxabl is 9.5-foot ceilings and it's 18 foot wide. It has much, much better construction. So everybody sees a little casita today, but the reality is I could have built a much better mansion with a 40-foot Boxabl once we have the 3 sizes of Lego, the 20, 30, the 40 foot.
Yeah.
I could have built a much better. So that was 20 years ago. And I just remember getting in my pickup truck and going and visiting a lot of the modular manufacturers and just thinking, like, as a factory guy, as a industrial designer, mechanical engineer, that this is a disaster. This is a mess.
Yeah.
And so I filed a couple of patents and went about my life, and then decided a few years ago to sell my previous business, move out here and give it a shot. Galiano sold his large farm in Northern California, came down and joined me, and that was maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And then I think we diddled around. There was basically 3 founders. There's Galiano, Kyle, who also moved out west with me from the East Coast, from New York area, and we just fiddled around in the R&D lab
Just making
to see if we could convince ourselves that we had anything. And then this was maybe how long ago? 3-4 years ago, and we got a little bit of press. It was it's just before Musk, I think, and IBS was coming up, and we got a call out of the blue from a magazine company that said, "Do you want 60,000 to make a couple of Boxables each, 40-footers?" So we did. You know, we said, let's try it. Let's do it. And then the year after that, after we realized we didn't know what we were doing and didn't know what to sell, so we configured the tech for the casita. And then the year after that, attended the IBS show again. And then everything went crazy.
Yeah.
And then we started talking to investors and angels. I put a few million in at this point. I'm not going to spend $200 million on it. You know, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
Galiano said, "Why don't we try crowdfunding?" You know, I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, a little bit. So, yeah.
And so from there, that was, I don't know, it's 4 years ago. I mean, everything's happened very quickly.
That's
so still a short
what a
period.
story. That's a great
It's still a short period, man.
Yeah, it's a really short period of time. And just scaling up the staff, the different departments, has been a huge challenge. We have now, we have folks from Daimler Chrysler, from Bilstein. I think we have 3 or 4 guys from Tesla.
Oh, wow.
Everybody in the office pretty much is from the tech world. We have one poor guy, Lance, from the modular construction.
Yeah, Lance can't beat you up now because you over here doing all this. Yeah, that's funny though. Hilarious. You know, with us being a business, I know you answered this before, but I'm just curious. You know, things have changed and pivoting things. What would you say to somebody? I mean, obviously you and Galiano have thrown yourself into this, right, to this business. But what would you say to somebody that wants to be a small business owner? They might have a dream, they might have a vision, whatever that is. What would you share with them for what they should do next?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you guys are in the same boat, right? You're living it every day. So I can only speak for myself, and possibly for Galiano. The first thing I would say is, not everybody's wired to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's wired to be an entrepreneur, right?
Agreed.
So unless you are willing to live and breathe it every day, unless you're willing to put everything a second place, I mean everything. I mean your family, I mean your children, possibly your health, everything, your friends. Everything better be second place, or you're probably not going to make it until you sort of get it figured out. And then, you can act maybe possibly a bit more like a human being.
Yeah.
But do you really? Do you really? Are you at that point? Are you just
'Cause
wired? Are you just wired? You know, if words like work-life balance come out of your mouth, it's not for you. All right. If you're not thinking about it at the weekends, like I am, and I know you guys are, all the time, it's not for you. It doesn't make you a bad person. You just go get a job and have a lovely career and a lovely husband, wife, significant other, babies. Go ahead and do it. You can do it all, but the business had better be number one. The business had better be number one. So that would be the first thing. I think you really have to gauge yourself. And I would say it's not something you can convince yourself to do. I think it's almost a compulsion. So I don't think you can decide. I think your wiring decides whether you are compulsive enough to say, no, I don't want to work for the man. You know, I have issues. You know, and you probably do have issues. You're probably not a terribly well balanced individual. You know, I think success is unreasonable because it's not the norm. You know, if you want to be more successful than most people, it's not the norm. The norm is average. So success by definition is not average. So maybe you have to be a little bit unreasonable. Maybe you have to
love your honesty, man.
And if I say one other thing that I think most people don't get is you don't give up. People that can make a go of something just give up.
They do. Too easy.
So easily they give up.
Too soft.
Yeah. So you just never, ever give up. Never, ever give up. And I would say the third one is if you hear yourself internalizing excuses, or even worse, it coming out of your mouth that you're making an excuse, you're never going to make it. If you're making excuses, and by that I mean, I don't care whose fault it is. I don't care whose fault it is. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. Because if I say, oh, I couldn't do this because that guy did that and it's not my fault, I just took all my power away. I took all my power away to fix that problem because I just put it over there. And now I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be a loser. I'll be a loser. So I don't care whose fault it is. I'm going to take that on board. I'm going to take that on board. And I'm going to say, I'm going to fix that. It's my problem, and I'm going to fix that. And now I've empowered myself. I hate using words like empowered, by the way.
But I get it,
like that. But it's true. It's true. And those are some of the, maybe certainly, I think the three biggest principles. You know, you got to show up.
No, that makes sense.
Get done.
No.
And I like what you're saying. I love your honesty and transparency on it. You know, that's what I want to hear your perspective.
That bites us in the ass sometimes.
I get it. No, I get it.
People actually say, you know, it's like, oh my God, did you guys really just say that?
But it's true though. A lot of the times, man.
We don't care. We don't care. I don't have to remember the last piece of bullshit that came out of my mouth. I don't have to remember the last white lie that came out of my mouth.
It's just you.
You just be yourself. Who cares? Be pompous and all this. So, I mean, obviously, we all lie socially. I mean, if you haven't seen somebody and they've put on 100 pounds, you're not going to say you fat load or something. You know what I mean? You're going to be polite. But outside of that, just let it out.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. That's a real statement. I do got to ask you any update, just as we're finishing up. Favorite restaurant in Vegas, man? I know I probably asked you before, but what's the new one that you can give us?
Oh, I hope I didn't give this one to you before. It's Panevino.
Panevino. Yeah, right by the airport.
Panevino.
Right on Sunset, I want to say. Italian place.
Yeah.
Yes,
Panevino. And the nice thing about Panevino is its food's Italian, maybe a little bit biased. It means bread and wine in Italian, Panevino.
Okay.
And the maitre d' there is a gentleman by the name of Vincenzo.
Okay.
And just say Paolo sent you.
Okay.
He will hug you.
Take care of you.
He might lick your cheek. I mean, it's just bizarre. My girlfriend loves getting hugged by him. I'm like, get a room. And I'm like, no, wait, don't get a room. Don't get a room. This is disgusting. So, Panevino.
Sure. Okay, Panevino. I've been to Panevino, but I'm not bringing my wife. I'm going to have to bring Chris and I go.
Well, just stand in front of her.
Yeah, just stand in front.
No, he's just a lecherous Italian.
Hilarious. Yeah, good stuff. But you always give us a gym, man. Just finishing up, what would you be focused on just finishing out strong for 2023?
Oh, gosh. Professionally?
Professional or personally?
Let me think about that for a moment.
Maybe in the next Iron Man movie, the way you look at it.
So I would say, Professionally, so the biggest challenge we have with the company today is certifications. Is the government gets in the way. And you talk to government people and they will readily agree with you, the government is getting in the way. So I'll give you a very quick example. And we didn't realize it would be this bad when we started. So we're grinding through it. By that, I mean certification state by state for our building products. So it would be like, because it's a pre-industrial business, there's no rationalization across states. So it'd be like you get in your car, you drive to Arizona, and you get to the border and they put their hand up and they say, well, you can't come in. I said, well, I can't come in. What's your wheels? They're half an inch too big. You need to make certifications. So we're grinding our way through. We have 0 certifications right now in the modular space. There's about 9 modular certifications across 50 states. There's about 9 states that don't require it. We can also, just getting into the weeds, do something called the Park Model RV, so we're able to sell. We're on the cusp of breaking through with California, Arizona, and Nevada. Like most things, California is the toughest nut to crack. Once we get that, the others will flow. And it's just part of us being, you know, in a leadership position in this space to turn a pre-industrial business into a post-industrial business, so we can all get the goodies that a modern world can do. So on the professional side, you know, I think that would be it. Awesome, man.
Well, we're rooting for you, Paolo. We've got to keep having you come on just to kind of share. Every time you come on, we learn something new, man. It's great. So definitely check us out at thevegascircle.com. And Paolo, we appreciate you, man. Thank you very much, man.
Let's shake.
Appreciate it. That was awesome.